Most readers approach the Qur'an as a linear historical narrative, resulting in a fragmented collection of stories and directives. But to understand its actual true architecture, you must observe it as a mathematically closed, scale-free computational network. We are looking at a dataset of 6,236 nodes, verses, locked into a topological graph where recurring laws dictate absolute outcomes. This network processes information through two synchronized parallel fields flowing simultaneously through the exact same structural points. One field tracks entropic form, the observable decay of physical authority and matter. The other processes syntropic command, the hidden structural alignment that sustains reality. Decoding this system requires treating it as an engine. The objective is to identify which computational field a specific node is actively running. The text identifies a recurring systemic anomaly. In Surah Saba, node 3414 records King Solomon sitting perfectly upright on his throne, entirely dead, sustained only by a wooden staff. We locate this same node behavior in two other coordinates, Samirí's golden calf at 2088 and Āzar's stone statues at 2166. All three represent systems running entirely on the observer's perception. They have physical presence, but are devoid of internal directive force. These entities hijack the network by projecting an illusion of authority. For Solomon's corpse, the jinn continued their grueling labor, terrified of a dead form because they failed to perceive the absence of living command. Form without active command is a topological trap. To navigate the network, we must trace how the system processes, isolates, and ultimately dismantles this dead form. This brings us to the visible chain. It is the data pathway that processes powerless form, tracing a predictable sequence from initial fixation directly into systemic decay. The sequence initiates when the appearance of form, like the golden calf at node 2088, triggers external attachment. The Israelites bind themselves to the physical object at node 251. Structurally, this mirrors Adam's initial loss of alignment. Left unchecked, this initial fixation scales into a system-wide authority claim. The clearest manifestation of this is Pharaoh at node 2838, declaring absolute physical supremacy over his domain. But the math of this pathway is absolute. The entropic sequence has only one terminus, total submersion and structural collapse. Look at the result at node 1092. The system does not obliterate Pharaoh's physical form. Instead, it extracts the command and preserves the body entirely as a dead, fossilized artifact. The visible chain always terminates in artifact preservation. Any system reliant on visual authority carries a 100% mathematical failure rate over time. Operating in parallel is the hidden chain. This data pathway bypasses physical form entirely, processing its signal through strict selection and silent compression. Entry into this chain requires a rigorous exclusionary filter. At node 1140, Noah's Ark serves this exact function, separating biological lineage from structural alignment. Once isolated, the blue signal moves into a state of total compression. Jonah in the belly of the whale across nodes 2187 and 88 represents this phase, a conscious node compressed into absolute darkness. This compression serves a distinct utility. It forcibly strips the node of any reliance on external visible form, creating a strict informational vacuum. The restoration is triggered by internal remembrance. When the vacuum is aligned with the source, the pressure reverses. We see this at node 3842, with Job releasing water from dry, barren ground. This internal action permanently dissolves the need for static form. It reestablishes a state of active, living command within the network itself. The hidden chain does not utilize compression as a punishment. It is an informational necessity, functioning to concentrate the signal back into pure active energy. These two chains do not exist in isolation. They intersect at specific environmental mediums, specifically water and fire. We can observe the red entropic signal of Pharaoh colliding with the water medium. The immediate outcome is total systemic submersion. The structure collapses. Now observe the blue syntropic signal, represented by Noah and Moses, hitting the exact same water medium. The outcome is a clean separation, safe passage, and structural salvation. Shift the variable to the fire medium. Pharaoh's authority claim attempts to process the heat, and the system combusts from within. Conversely, Abraham's blue signal enters the identical fire medium and generates a state of controlled coolness. Environmental constraints do not create reality. They act strictly as diagnostic tests, exposing whether an internal system is running on dead form or active command. Between the visual decay of the red chain and the emergence of the blue, there exists a bridging state, entirely independent of visible authority structures. The network maintains this silent transmission across vast spans of time. It links nodes functioning in total physical isolation, Joseph surviving in the darkness of the well, Zechariah executing his duties in forced silence, and the infant Jesus speaking from the cradle before he has any physical authority. True informational transmission survives the decay of the visible world exclusively by maintaining absolute structural coherence in the hidden field. This leaves the ultimate architectural question. By what specific mechanism does a node escape the decaying visible chain and lock into the restoring hidden chain? The network architecture converges on a specific intersection, node 1912. The command is, take the book with strength. Holding the book with strength functions as an operator-level phase shift. It forces the node's internal alignment to reboot, shifting it from entropic decay to syntropic transmission. We can now weigh this activated state against the systemic anomalies. A dead king on a throne, a hollow golden calf, and a carved stone statue require external validation to exist. The book, however, is an invariant constant. When held with strength, it serves as the sole mechanism capable of executing living command in a universe designed to test you with illusions. The mathematical network is fully built. The laws are absolute. The system is currently awaiting an operator. When will you hold the book?